Lesson 6-2, Substitution. Our essential question today is, how do you determine the number of solutions a system has using substitution? Our first slide, this doesn't need to be written in your notes. This is a review, click and drag. Remember that there are 3 different kinds of systems that we can have. So one of them is when the lines are parallel. And when the lines are parallel, that means that there is no solution because the lines don't cross. And when they are parallel, the equations have the same slopes but different y-intercepts. The second thing that can happen is there could be one solution, and we have one solution when the lines are intersecting. Lines that intersect have different slopes. And then the third thing that can happen is we can have infinitely many solutions, which happens when the lines are identical. Because they're identical, their equations show the same slope and the same y-intercept. Oftentimes you can't tell that they're identical because equations aren't always written in the same form. So you would need to write them in the same form first if you were graphing, and then you would be able to tell by their same slope and same intercept. Today we're going to be using substitution to figure out what type of system we're working with. So it's a little bit different. It's going to look a little bit different than it did when we were graphing. Okay, so we're going to use substitution on this first system. Remember, substitution means that if 2 things are equal in value, you can replace one with the other. So my first equation says that y is equal to negative 4x plus 11. So what that means to me is I can replace the other letter y with negative 4x plus 11. The rest of that bottom equation stays, so the 3x and the equals 9 I'm going to use to help me find my solution. 3x minus 4x is negative 1x. Plus 11 equals 9. Subtract 11 on each side. Negative 1x equals negative 2. And then divide by negative 1 on each side. And x equals positive 2. So my x coordinate is positive 2. I bring it back to the top. And the y coordinate would be negative 4 times 2 plus 11, so negative 8 plus 11, which is 3. So this system I have solved, and I found one solution. So that means that these are intersecting lines, and there's one solution. That solution happens to be 2, 3. Okay, our next example. So we've seen one with one solution, so now we should be expecting the other 2. So this one says y equals 6 minus x. So I can take the 6 minus x and replace the other letter y with it, because they're equal in value. Remember that you need parentheses around it whenever there's a coefficient in front of where you're substituting. So because I circled the y right here, and it had a 3 in front, I need parentheses, and I need to distribute that 3. It's 3 times y, so it's 3 times the entire quantity, 6 minus x. 3 times 6 is 18, and 3 times x is 3x. Bring down the 3x plus, and equals 3. Now what happens on this problem, when I put together 3x minus 3x, they actually cancel out. They cancel out. So 0 plus 18 equals 3. 0 plus 18 is 18. 18 equals 3. Well, I'm pretty sure the number 18 does not equal 3. So 18 is not equal to 3. It's not equal to 3 at all. So what that means is that there's no solution. There's no solution to this system. So that means that my lines are parallel. So if what's left, my variables have canceled out, and 18 does not equal 3, that is completely false. That signals to me that there's no solution. You could go back to the original equation. The first one I could rewrite as y equals negative x plus 6. So the slope is negative 1. If I solve the other one, you'll see that the slope is the same. This slope is also negative 1. So y equals negative 1x plus 1. So they have the same slope but different intercepts. They are parallel. They are parallel lines. So to solve the system by substitution instead of graphing and figure out that they're parallel, it's if your variables cancel out while you're solving and what's left is not true. It is not true. 18 is not equal to 3. All right, our third example, y equals 4x minus 6. So replace the y with 4x minus 6 in parentheses again because of the 2 that was in front. We'll distribute on this one. And negative 2 times 4x is negative 8x. Negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. So 8x minus 8x is 0. 0 plus 12 equals 12. Well, 0 plus 12 is 12. So 12 equals 12. That's true. That's always true. 12 is the same as 12. So this one has an infinite number of solutions because it's always true. So for any value of x, this equation is going to be true. So infinitely many solutions. So that means that my lines are identical. And if you don't believe that, you could certainly solve them both. So I could, well, actually solve the bottom one because the top one is already in slope-intercept form. So I can prove to you that these are identical. So I subtracted 8x on both sides, and now I'm dividing everything by negative 2. That gives me 4x minus 6. So they are the exact same. So if your variables cancel out while you're solving a system using substitution, you just have to look at the numbers, the constant numbers that are left on each side to see if it's true, if it's an identity or not. Now we have a geometry application. Write and solve a system of equations to find the measures of angles A and B. The sum of the measures of the angles is 180 degrees. Okay, so the sum means to add. So the sum of the angles, so that means A plus B equals 180 degrees. Then the second equation says the measure of angle A is, so A is 52 greater than angle B. 52 greater than means plus, so 52 plus B. Now I have A equals 52 plus B, so I can replace the other A with 52 plus B. So this is what my top equation would change to. 52 plus B replaces the A, then plus B equals 180. B plus B. Remember, these are each 1B. So 1B plus 1B is 2B. So 2B plus 52 degrees equals 180 degrees. Then I subtract the 52 on both sides. 2B equals 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 5 is 2, so 128 degrees. And then I divide by 2. So B equals 64 degrees. Then I can bring that back up to where I started. So A equals 52 degrees plus B, which is 64 degrees. So A equals 116 degrees. So my answer would be angle A is 116 degrees and angle B 64 degrees. You should be able to write a summary now, answering the essential question, and make sure that you use complete sentences. Check with your teacher for your homework assignment.